At least in the episodes that I saw, the only time that you were swearing was around this idea that when you book a call with someone who's sort of like a couple steps ahead of you, right? And then they charge you money for it.
Oh fuck yes, my god, man! This like I know the guy also. I'll tell you guys off screen who that is, but like so this friend of mine did it. He booked a call with someone because he wanted to learn or ask question. He sent a link and 15-minute call is chargeable.
Wow.
Right? So I was like, fucking douchebag. Like my first reaction was that.
Yeah.
Right? And he's not some really big accomplished, he's probably, I think, the same age as my friend, probably younger than me. I don't think his achievements are, to be honest, in that. And this all happens with the guys, unfortunately, in corporate, who are getting some amount of fame and recognition, and then they think and people who are in transition between having worked in a large corporate to then becoming entrepreneurs or solopreneurs, that phase they get into this. So I personally can't relate with that. I have a fundamental problem if someone's reaching out for help or whatever it is, and then you're charging them for that 15 minutes of the time. I mean, like preying on the weak is how I look at it. So that still irks me. So
right. Is that also the reason why you don't like the course business?
Who in the world has become better after a course? Like, I have a lot of these coaches who work with us, by the way, for scaling ads and doing it. I don't mind doing that as a business, because anyone who comes to us, as long as it's not politics, I have no, and maybe drugs and stuff that is banned by law, I have no problem in serving them, right? We do that. So it's not a hypocritical stance. I just think there's a division between my personal interest versus what the company does. They're two different things. But I genuinely don't believe that courses actually do anything it nudges you in the right direction. It gives you some value, no doubt. But I feel anything today that has been itemized and sold is available for free on the internet.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a function of you being a seeker and not. And I have been that. And I keep saying that I watched YouTube shows of Gary Vee and Stephen Bartlett. I've been following him from the time when he had maybe 3,000 subscribers. And back to Martin Sorrell's interviews and his material about how he built WPP. Everything is out there. It's open source. So you don't need to pay for anything. So, I get why people are doing. And as somebody who hated the education system, and by someone who sits and curses about the fact that the school system has actually failed every entrepreneur in the country and in the world, I don't think, and not just entrepreneurs, but even as extension, if you look at people who have been musicians, people who have been athletes, like which athlete today in the country can say, I played for the country because my school gave me the resources and the facilities? Nobody. Everyone went to a private academy to a different coach. Most people who top exams go to tuitions. So education system doesn't work, right? I think that's a reality of things. Now, as an extension of that, in the corporate world now, after doing all of that education and spending tons of money, you're still paying for courses, like in your 20s or 30s, to learn and become better. So I have a fundamental problem with that thought process and how in society, like earlier you were going to school because your parents paid for it. Now you're paying for it. And like I do it once in a while, right? Like a lot of these digital marketing gurus who release like courses and ebooks and stuff. And I like, if I see it $1,000, $500, I'll pay. I don't care. I want to see what it is. Typically I scan through it and then I say, shit, put it in the trash. Because nothing is insightful. Nothing is like different and new. And I think there's more material that you can learn from on Twitter than stuff that you get on these courses.
And ironically, I've hired a bunch of people from these, or tried to hire a bunch of people from these creative courses. Most of the people that come out and have done well, right? Like let's say good editors or good thumbnail designers or whatever, were good before the course also. Like the course was not the catalyst that made them good.
Yeah.
They were already good. The course just sort of got them in the right circles to be hired.
Yeah.
So it was more of like access to opportunity for them than like actual learning.
Yeah, but having said that, there are some courses, to be honest, that do give you a sort of a leverage and advantage because it circumvents time that you would spend otherwise learning. Like for example, I think the GrowthX course on growth marketing is fabulous. You don't often get opportunity to do that in your job, but you can. It's not impossible, but typically I think if you maybe You could learn that if you have a side hustle and spend 3 hours consulting on a small business on the side who lets you run ads and learn things, etc. And as long as you're able to do half decent job for them, you learn that kind of work. But sure, a course will help you put structure to things, right? Today, I think GPT is eradicated that, to be very honest, in a lot of ways, right? But that sort of a course somewhere to somebody could be useful. But like I have fundamental problem if people are teaching you how to do business through courses. You can't create that. People are teaching sport, some cases, I don't know how, never happens. So it's like being in a zoo. It's not the jungle. So my problem comes from there. But if your course is very dynamic and you're taking people out, and like if you're doing a small cohort but then you're doing very high involvement, and then
Right.
like
Hands-on.
actually hands-on, meeting them, physical, etc., then I think there's a lot of merit value which I think could be extracted. But yeah, fundamentally my problem comes from the kind of courses which are just selling you, basics.